Welcome back to the Nick and Beane pod, week 8 of the NFL season, Nick, is that right?
That is right.
Week 8 of the NFL season, pod 9 for the year. Nick, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling ready to rumble. You know what I mean? Last week was decent, a.k.a. another 500 week by me.
You're just sticking around 500, huh?
But I'm about to break it this week, hopefully in a good way.
All right, and before we get started, I have a big announcement. All, 50 people who listen to this podcast, they must be buying a lot of Diet Smoke, because I heard from my rep over at Diet Smoke, and if you use the code Nick and Beane on their website, 30% off.
That's big.
They're basically giving you this stuff for free.
That's big.
I mean, if you're not using that code, I don't know how many packs. Are you buying it all, or is it our customers?
Shout out to the sponsor.
All right, so we're making them, probably, I don't even know how much money, but they're giving you 30% off with code Nick and Beane. Go use it. Go buy some Delta 8, Delta 9, Diet Smoke.
I think you have free shipping, 30% off. It's like a bunch of
They're basically
perks.
giving it to you. So get over there, use that code, again, Nick and Beane, and get 30% off. Let's hop into it. I was 2-3 last week. You were 1-1. Let's chop it up. I'm going to go on the record. I bet with Russell Wilson. He didn't even play. I felt better that he wasn't playing. Still lost the Broncos pick. That was on me. Bad pick. The Packers, I think they're dead to me. I don't think I can bet them the rest of the season.
I don't think you can either.
They were even up like 14-3. Like, it was so sad. So I go 2-3. Nick 1-1.
Was that 3 weeks in a row with the Packers?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Like you went 1-1, Nick, and God, the Patriots blew it for you,
bro. I can't believe that. That game should have been easy.
And we thought Zappy was starting, right?
Yeah, the Bears put up 33 points. That's probably the only time that's going to happen this year.
Good for the Bears. What a game. Justin Fields actually looked good. It cost you your bet, but really good game from Fields. He looked nice. How was your fantasy week?
Fantasy week was 1-2, and then the FanDuel.
I don't want to talk about mine. It was terrible. I think I was 2-6. Just awful week. And let's get into some news. There was a lot of news this week.
Yeah.
And there was news since we had our last podcast. So let's hop in. The most recent news.
We've got movement.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Let's start with the negative. Let's start with the only negative out of this news. Jamar Chase, 4 to 6 weeks with a hip injury.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors it could be the season.
Where'd you see that?
A couple of people came out and said that Schefter is, they're saying he could be on the light side, and hip injuries are just could be the worst.
Yeah, it's one of the worst. Like, the hip moves too many directions. You know what I mean?
And my mediocre fantasy season is about to plummet through the fucking gutter. Because without Jamar, I sent like the I'm fine gif. I'm not fine, Nick. I need Jamar Chase in my life, and I'm just sad.
You got Jefferson on the other squads, though.
And I traded him away in 1 too. It's I can't believe Chase is hurt. So that's the negative news. The news that happened right after the pod last week, I think when was it? Was it during the pod or right after Christian McCaffrey trade?
Yeah, that was big.
Did we talk about that?
I don't think we talked about it.
I think it happened right after the pod on Thursday night, actually. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Big move for the Niners. Didn't work out for them last week, but he's going to be a monster there.
Yeah, and you kind of saw, though, like, as good of a player Christian McCaffrey is, the Panthers were fine.
Yeah, the Panthers did well. They had their only good game of the year, pretty much.
They knew that they weren't going to be able to pay him again and try to load that team up. They couldn't surround him with any talent as is. So I think they're trying to rebuild at this point.
Good move for them. Good move for the Niners.
They got a lot back. The Panthers got a lot back, too.
They got 4 picks back, which was really good for a running back. You're paying $15 million a year who's always hurt.
Yeah.
So, good move for both sides, especially with the Niners in win-now mode. He's perfect for Jimmy G. Next news, real light news. Robert Quinn goes to the Eagles. They're just stacking dudes.
Yeah, they're about to be nice on the pass rush.
They already were, and they're even better now. Here's a little Nick and Beane pod inside tip.
Yeah.
There are little fairy dust that Mr. Alvin Kamara could be going to Philly as well. Supposedly they are not done. 6 or 7 picks they still have for next year after acquiring all these guys. If they add Kamara, they're already scary. If they add Kamara, that's a problem.
Yeah, my fantasy team doesn't like it, but that'd be good for them. They could be like a Super Bowl team at that point.
And then lastly, probably Kadarius Toney goes to the Chiefs. Yeah. Who knows what the move's going to be? If he can stay on the field, he could be electric in that offense. Yes. But he hasn't shown he can stay on the field.
Right. He hasn't played basically all year, having hamstring injuries, which is
he had one or two good games last year, and he showed like that Tyreek Hill shiftiness.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything since. So we'll see. He could be big. I mean, let's go through their receivers real quick. MVS, decent. Juju, decent.
Yeah.
Sky Moore can't catch the ball.
Right.
So, McCole Hardman is a once every 5 games type of guy.
Not this year. He's been doing a little bit better than
Go
that.
check it. He's a once every 4 games now. He still has his games where he goes for 0. But
True.
Another weapon for Andy Reid. We've got a few more topics in chopping it up. Nightmare start to the seasons for the 2 best quarterbacks historically active in the league right now.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. I mean, what's going on?
I mean, if I could explain it,
is it just the home situation? Is he just stressed at home and Gisele's leaving him and his family's falling apart? Is that a big? I mean, it's got to be a big factor.
maybe, but a guy like Tom Brady, who's been doing this so long and as mentally strong as he is, I don't think something like, I guess family's obviously huge, but I mean, I don't think he's letting stuff like that get to him.
They've got not a must-win, but because of the division they're in, but big game coming up in about 45 minutes against the Ravens.
All the guys that were playing in 1998 suck this year. Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan, he got benched.
Rodgers.
We'll talk about that. Rodgers, again, terrible. So Brady and Rodgers really need to turn it around. Probably the 2 NFC favorites going into the season. They both look like shit.
Yeah. And I think they're going to continue to look like shit, honestly.
Bill Belichick, I don't know what he's doing, but I
never seen him play two.
I don't know why he ever did that. He never does that.
I've never seen him play 2 quarterbacks in a game.
And it looks like, Mac Jones was never even decent, but he's ruined Mac beyond repair, I think. And Zappy is the better quarterback, 100%. Let me say this. Last year, our second podcast, what did I tell everyone? I told you Mac Jones would be out of the league in 2 years. Okay.
You think this is his last one?
This could be his last year, but he's fucking terrible, all right? He's awful. The whole Mac versus Tua conversation where people are like, oh, Mac was better than him?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. All right? Zappy, while much better than Mac Jones, much better, still not an NFL quarterback.
You don't think so?
No, not even close. The Patriots suck, okay?
They do suck.
They suck, and Belichick's still a great coach, but they suck.
I think Zappy could be an NFL quarterback, and even Mac Jones, honestly. I think he could be an NFL quarterback. I don't think his career is done after this season.
You just confirmed everything I said. If
What?
Nick thinks you're going to be an NFL quarterback, they're probably both dead.
Well, he could be. He could be.
I don't know.
Like, think of some of the guys that are still in the league. Or
I guess Baker Mayfield had a job, so.
Or that hold on to the league forever.
Oh, my God. All right, and last thing before we get into impact plays, we both were at the Dolphins game on Sunday night. What a fucking electric atmosphere.
Yeah,
they did the greatest team to ever play in the history of the NFL, the 1972 Dolphins. Can't take that away from us. Still the only undefeated team. They did this incredible presentation, and you should have heard the live reaction to Tua Tagovailoa walking out of that locker room.
Yeah, that was sick.
It was electric. Chills down your spine, hair standing up on your neck. The Dolphins are fucking back. Tua looked great. Not the best, but he looked great. Okay,
7.5 yards per.
He's averaging the highest yards per attempt in the NFL. All those idiots who said he couldn't throw. And guess what? Remember, everyone was last year. They were like, "Oh, the Dolphins, the biggest mistake in the history of the NFL, passing on Herbert for Tua."
Right.
I'm on record 1,000,000 times over. Tua's better than Herbert. Maybe not better than Burrow, but he's easily better than Herbert. And guess what? People are finally starting to come around. ESPN, there was a whole segment defending Tua over Herbert today. Okay. So they're finally starting to learn what I've been telling everyone. Tua's the fucking guy.
Yeah, so, the Dolphins clearly would be better when Tua back. I like the team, but at the same time, they've got the cluster injuries. At first, the cluster injuries also included the quarterback with Teddy and Tua, but we've got them back now. During that game, we suffer another injury to our defensive backfield. And
we'll get through the injuries.
And Brandon Jones is out now.
Brandon Jones done for the season, yeah.
Obviously, we'll get to the injuries, but when you have 3 or 4 guys injured at the same position, that's when it really affects your team at that point.
Yep, I agree, but we're going to be fine. Let's jump into the impact plays from Week 7 in the NFL season. And Joe Burrow, rough start to the season. They lose to Pittsburgh. They look like shit.
They turn it up. What'd I say 2 weeks ago?
And the thing is, and I had a few people shout us out, the Nick and Beane pod, both of our fan duels consisted of the Burrow Chase stack.
Yeah.
You had, I think, Mixon too, but we knew what was going to happen.
Yeah,
He had
I bet the -6.5 was one of my past
Yep,
picks.
and I had him in every teaser. 375 yards in the first half.
I don't know if that's happened before.
That's insane. 481 and 3 touchdowns. Boyd and Chase went nuts. Obviously, Chase injury is going to hurt them, and I probably would have bet them Monday night against Cleveland, but that's a tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I would have bet them too. They obviously still win that game. I just don't know if I would bet them -3.5. If you give me a 3.
Yeah, it's tough. Jamar Chase changes the game. So first impact play was Joe Burrow. The second one, and I'll admit it right now, I always thought this guy was a solid running back, but what he is doing this year, and it's a contract year for him, okay? Josh Jacobs looks like a top 5 NFL running back.
Has it been the whole year, or was it kind of
the entire year?
He's
He
been
has
doing
been
well?
good the entire year. He had 143 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. And I know it's Houston, but guess what? This guy he's phenomenal. I'm going to read you his game log on the year so far, right?
Okay.
He started a little slow. Okay, 60 yards rushing first game with 20 receiving, so still 80 total. 70 yards rushing with 15 receiving the second game. Okay, so 85 yards total. Then he went for 70 and 30, over 100 yards. Then he went for 144 and 2 touchdowns, along with 6 catches for 31 yards. Monster, 31.5 fantasy points, half PPR. Then he went 21 for 151 and a score, added 5 for 40 through the air, and then last week, 143, 3 touchdowns, added 4 catches. He is, I think, the number 1 or 2. Is he top few running back in the league this year for fantasy? And he looks incredible, and he's going to get a deal. I mean, it's not going to be crazy because these running backs don't get paid that much, but he is proving. I don't know if proving me wrong, but I didn't think he could do this.
Yeah, so he's averaging 5.7 yards per carry, which is ridiculous.
All-time good. I think Jamal Charles is the all-time leader at like 5.8 or 5.9.
He had 2 games that happened to be his last 2 games. He was averaging over 7 yards per carry, which is fucking stupid.
Yeah, he looks great. I actually, if Beane will be listening to this, he offered me in a trade multiple times early in the season. And I just whiffed
Jacobs.
on it. Yeah it was like Jacobs for like Kareem Hunt and Damian Harris or something like that. And it's such a bad mistake on my end.
I just wasn't buying into Josh Jacobs. I didn't believe that he was going to be the bell cow back.
He carried the ball like 25 times in the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
Like, it made no sense. It was like a preseason game, and people were starting to say, oh, Zamir White might be the guy.
Right, or like,
Remember
they're at least going to go with committee
1
like
or
3
2.
guys. Yeah.
No, they're just feeding Jacobs. He's an absolute monster. And the last impact player, Hopkins is back. He changes that offense. Marquise Brown, they lost, which he was playing great, but there's something about an absolute star receiver that changes everything for a team.
How long is Brown out for?
I think 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, dang.
A while.
Okay.
But I mean, Hopkins is just another level. You saw it. I think he had 10 for 100 or 10 for 105. They smashed they're the Cardinals. They smashed the Saints.
Hopkins is like a top 5 receiver on that team, and he's a leader on that team, and
he means top wide receiver and top 5 in the league.
Yeah, not top 5 on
that
the team.
Yeah, I understand.
Top 5 in the league. And he makes a big difference to that offense. He brings kind of confidence to Kyler Murray.
That's what it
is. Seen before.
Nick, that's the best statement you've made in the history of this podcast. He brings that confidence to Kyler Murray. He gives him that safety blanket. He knows if he throws it his way,
wherever,
most of the time, Hopkins will catch it. Good call, Nick. Good call. All right, those were the impact plays. What do you got?
No.
Okay, you good?
Just nodding. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Let's get into a few of the rest of the games. We just discussed a bunch. We talked Brady, Rodgers, Mac, all these different things. Let's talk about a few others. First one. Remember the ad I had last week when we got in this Cowboys discussion?
Yeah.
People called me insane. I
thought it was crazy.
Hate mail in my mail to my house after claiming the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Well, I backed up my word, and I put a large bet on the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
At 20 to 1.
Crazy.
We bet on the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think they're going to win it.
No.
I think they can get there, though. And if they get there, I can hedge. But I'm sticking to my guns. Cowboys, They smashed the Lions. Micah Parsons is the best player in the NFL, maybe. Is he incredible?
He's incredible.
He's absolutely incredible. You know, Josh Allen, Micah Parsons. You know, I mean, this guy is just an absolute monster.
He is a monster. He's a monster, but I don't know about comparing him to like Josh Allen or something like that.
All right. Well, they covered easily. That was one of my bets that won last week. What do you got?
Yeah, I almost went and bet the fucking Detroit Lions. And for the beginning part of that game, I was like, dang, I should have put that bet in. But
yeah, they smashed them. They played terrible and smashed them. And that side note, I think Zeke's having some knee issues. Pollard could just explode.
Yes, sir. I like that.
He could explode.
Yeah.
Next game, Colts Titans. Mike Vrabel can coach, and Derrick Henry can run the football. Enough said.
Yeah. I mean, the Colts are kind of doo doo.
Well,
they took out freaking Matt Ryan, and now they're going to play a kid that never played football.
They're playing Sam Ellinger. He's
never
coming
played in the NFL.
But guess what? Can he be worse than Ryan's been? I mean, I know you got that bet that just got ruined.
Yeah, dude. The only way to kill that Matt Ryan bet.
You were sad.
A little bit.
You were quitting NFL at one point. Was that last week? This week?
I was quitting fantasy.
Your fantasy is.
I'm gonna bet.
By the end of this week, by the end of the year, you're gonna be last in all your leagues and have a tattoo on your forehead or something like that.
If that happens, I'm definitely quitting fantasy. But yeah, he could actually be worse.
He could be worse than Ryan.
He could.
But guess what? All they need to do is just run the ball. Run the ball.
You're right. If they choose to do that, Matt Ryan last week. Remember, what was it, 50-something the week before? I think it was. I mean, he was in the
his best week ever, and then he just put up an egg.
But he had over 40 plus attempts again last week.
50, did he?
It was a shoulder injury after the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they killed him.
They're
like, yo, let's just fucking run.
He'll be back in 3 weeks though, because Ellinger probably isn't going to be very good.
I won't hate it. My bet will be
Giants, Jags. Giants move to 6-1. Saquon is making incredible runs again. I still don't believe in them. Do you believe in the Giants?
No, I don't.
But they're going to make the playoffs probably, right?
They easily could make the playoffs.
They've already got 6 wins. They just need to get 3 more.
It's just
probably.
The Cowboys and the Eagles are also good. I mean, 3 teams can make it in one division, but like it's they'll make it. I don't think they're going to fucking do anything.
I don't think they'll do anything either. Yep, but great game from them.
The Jags are actually top 10, but I think they're like either 7 or 6 in EPA per play. 7 in the league, and yet they got smoked. They can't cover the fucking Giants.
They suck. Ravens, Browns. The Ravens are back to their old ways. Trivia question. I mean, actually, I think you saw it. Lamar had 9 completions last week. 9 completions total.
Who had 9 completions?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it. Just 9 completions.
Yeah,
they ran the ball. Gus Edwards back. 2 touchdowns. Lamar had 60 or 70 on the ground. They beat the Browns. You got anything on that game? Can we run through it?
Nah, yeah. Let's keep it moving. Divisional game.
Seahawks, Chargers.
Ravens not looking good. Remember I was like, oh, do we do the Browns live? I thought about it at some point in the second half when they were down big, and they started making a comeback on the Ravens. They didn't pull it off, but it was close there.
All right.
It was sort of funny.
So you didn't want to move on. You had a point.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. I was already lost. I was on to the next game.
Okay.
So I already went on this rant earlier, but Tua over Herbert. Seahawks, Chargers. I was all over the Chargers. 92% of the money was on the Seahawks. And guess what? Going against the public doesn't always work. And this was a mistake for me. The Seahawks smashed their fucking heads in. Justin Herbert. And guess what the narrative now is? Oh, he doesn't have weapons. Shut the fuck up.
Right. No, I agree.
Tua was throwing to Waddle and a bunch of guys you never even heard of last year, okay? So he can get through the weapons. He still got Eckler. He still got Keenan. Mike Williams played most of that game. They still had people. So the Chargers laid a big egg.
Are the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl this
year? The Seahawks are going to the playoffs for sure, I think. How can they not?
They might win their
division.
What
are they, 6-1, 5-2, 4-3?
They're 4-3.
Oh, never mind. They're 4-3. They're not making the playoffs. They'll dud out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kenneth Walker looks great, though. Ken Walker, sorry.
The Chargers are another team dealing with injury. I don't think they had their starting center during that game, and J.C. Jackson, I don't know when he went out during that game, but he matters to that defense. They're going to be a team in trouble. Bosa's already out, I think, unless he's back. Joey Bosa.
Lesson to everyone. If a corner looks good in New England, don't sign him. All right, Malcolm Butler, trash. J.C. Jackson, trash. Like, Bill Belichick just knows where to put these guys, okay? Don't give J.C. Jackson $100 million or whatever you gave him. It's not going to work out. All right, last game, Chiefs-Niners. We talked about a little bit. Chiefs killed them.
Yeah.
Absolutely
wasn't
killed
close.
them.
Niners look bad. Freaking Jimmy Garoppolo pulls a Orlovsky and steps out the back of the end zone for a safety.
That was not last week. That was like 3 weeks ago, Nick.
Perfect.
We've got Bo in here, the Deucers, and that was just...
That wasn't last week?
How did that just pop in your brain?
I don't know.
That was on primetime against the Broncos like 4 weeks ago. That was the Diet Smoke, ladies and gentlemen. 30% off Nick and Beane code.
He leads the league in safeties.
Give me that week. Was it week 3?
I'm trying to look it up.
Go look it up. I got to see this. Week 3 or 4? This could be Nick could take an hour looking this up.
Yeah, I don't got it.
He doesn't have it. Oh my God, I'm giving it to you right now. It was, oh no, Nick. No, it was week 5.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Oh, this is a disaster. It was week 3. Nick, we're 5 weeks ago.
That was
5 weeks.
That was a minute. Did he not get a safety again last?
5 weeks.
You sure he didn't get a safety again last week?
I don't know, but he didn't step out of the end zone.
He might not have stepped out of the end zone, but I could have swore he got a safety
Did he?
last week.
Again? No way.
No, I mean, I don't think he stepped
He got
out
a
of the
safety.
He got a safety.
He didn't step out of that. All right, you're out of control, Nick. All right, let's reel it back in. Marquee matchups, week 8 of the NFL season. And
whole lot of spicy matchups this week.
If you're not a diehard football fan, this isn't.
You might as well
week
take
for
the
you.
week off. Shit.
This week is disgusting. I mean, there's no good games. There's not one marquee matchup. I saw the ones you put down. These are all terrible games.
But I mean, I had to get something.
You had to get something. Let's go through them quick. Jets, Patriots, New England's -2.5 on the road. I don't even know. I guess this is a marquee matchup. What do you got on this?
Divisional game. You got spicy versus shaky going up. New England Patriots can't buy a win right now. The Jets are one of the hottest teams. Neither of these teams are good, to be honest with you. But I'm probably leaning Jets. I'm probably leaning Jets in this one.
All right. I don't even care to talk about it. 49ers, Rams. This may be the biggest trap of the year. I'm still deciding whether to give it out on the pod.
Last night I text you. I'm like, is it a trap? How's this number not moving?
The Niners are only -1.5 on the road against the Rams, who look like ass.
Something
and they don't
funny
have
with
any
that.
offensive line.
Something funny with
Supposedly their center was like working at the grocery store 16 weeks ago. And now he's starting.
They got
Doesn't even make sense.
They got 3 guards hurt, a tackle hurt. Like Matt Stafford's going to be on his ass all night.
All right.
And the San Francisco 49ers should not have problems moving the ball against the Rams. So,
all right, and then the last one you put was the Monday night game, Cincy versus Cleveland. Cincy was -3.5. With the Chase news, it's down to -3.
Okay, that's
on the
huge.
road against Cleveland. I am staying away from this one with that Chase news. I think, honestly, what I like in this game is, you know what? I just thought about it. I hate it, but I might have to give out the under. I mean, they could go from, hey, we don't have Chase, we need to run the ball. They could eat up a lot of clock. Mixon versus
Cleveland's
Chubb.
defense is bad.
Run.
Cleveland's defense is bad.
All right, and I hate giving out unders. I'm not doing that. Scratch
chill
that.
with that.
All right, let's get the pod picks.
That's one of those games that you like kind of go to bed at halftime. You're like, I'm not gonna miss anything here.
Yeah, okay. I usually watch them all, but that's good to know, Nick.
I'm gonna be sleep.
All right. Pod picks for the week. 2-3 last week for me because I somehow some stupid picked the Broncos. Nick was 1-1. I gave out 2 player props on the Instagram. Those split as well. Those were 1-1. The Jamar Chase touchdown was easy. Godwin over 62 yards did not hit, even though he had 7 catches.
What were his odds for the touchdown?
+110 or +120.
I like that.
Yep,
I should have took that.
It was an easy bet. All right, my first pick of the week, and it's a little bit chalk for my liking, but I'm taking the Titans. -2.5 in Houston. The line feels too low. It should be like 4.5.
Yeah, Houston's got no defense.
I just think Henry averages like $160 on the ground against them. So my first pick is the Titans -2.5. That's probably my favorite pick of the week, even though I don't love the board. Nick, what do you got? What's your first pod pick? How many do you have?
I only have 2.
2. Okay, I've got 3.
Keeping a regular copacetic. All right, I've got New York +8.5, and I've got Commanders +9. A little teaser. The Jets.
What is it?
New York plus the Jets +8.5.
Okay.
And Commanders up to 9. So the Jets playing a divisional game. Those rarely land outside 3. Low total game. The Commanders are playing a kid who has never played an NFL game before. So I'll take the 9 points against that. There's no way he's beating them by double digits.
All right, I like it. My next pick, I've got an over teaser. These are always fun. Okay. Commanders, Colts. The over-under is 39.5. We're going to tease that down to 33.5. I think we can get 34 points out of those two teams. And then give me the Sunday night game over. It's 47.5. Green Bay and Buffalo. Green Bay is playing maybe for their season, maybe for the division.
I mean, Buffalo might beat them 40-0.
Okay, exactly. So 41. It gets down to 41.5. So tease Washington Colts and Green Bay Buffalo overs to 33.5 and 41.5. That's my second pod pick. I've got a third that I'll give out after, but Nick, give me your second.
All right, so my next pick, I don't like it. I love it.
You love this one?
I love it.
How much should I put on it? $1 million?
$1.5 million.
Okay.
So I got the Seahawks -3 against the New York Giants.
Really? You're going against the public?
Gino, they called Gino. He ain't called back. He's about to bust their head. I swear to God. Seahawks -3.
All right, it's a revenge game for Gino for sure. I like it. Actually, I don't know if I like it.
He played on the Jets, cuz.
We'll ride it. This one is gross. This one's a cover your nose. I got to give out one of these. Cover your nose and ride Sam Ehlinger game. Nick, you know what cemented this pick for me, everyone? Nick, before the pod, told me that he liked the Washington football team, or whatever they're called now. So I love the Colts. -3 at home. Let the defense win it for you. Let Jonathan Taylor win it for you. Ehlinger can get away from at least one of the 23 sacks Matt Ryan takes a game.
Sure.
All right? So for me, Titans -2.5, Colts -3, and then that over teaser I talked about. Nick has the Seahawks -3.
Yeah.
And what's the teaser?
I've got the Jets +8.5 and Commanders, the Commies, up to +9 against Sam Ehlinger.
All right. Love it. Those are the pod picks. And ding, 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 we have a bonus pod pick from Mr. Boozy the Deucer. I'm going to give him the mic. He's going to talk into the mic and give you his pick for the week. Bo, the floor is yours.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me. Went 27-0 last week, so ride the wave.
27?
That's right, 27-0.
Holy crap.
We got Cowboys -3. We're teasing. 4-team teaser, 6 point.
4-team, let's go.
Got a 6-team also, but that's just a...
All right.
Let's keep that.
We'll keep that in the pocket. We got Cowboys at the Bears.
Okay.
The Bears aren't doing that twice in a row.
I doubt
Michael
it.
Parsons is going to kill Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields might get banged up next week. Or
Carolina
this week.
Panthers +10 at the Falcons.
Okay.
The Falcons couldn't beat Pinecrest by 10. We got the Eagles -4.5 against Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Best team in the league.
That's easy, yeah.
And the Bills -5.
I like it. I'm actually probably going to take that.
All right, that's the Boozy special of the week. Give it back to me. So it's the Cowboys teased.
Yeah.
It's a four-team teaser with the Cowboys, Panthers, Eagles, and Bills. All right, and I think those pay like 3-1. So that's a nice pay if that hits out. All right, those are our pod picks. Tough board this week, ugly board this week.
Yeah,
but
the games aren't going to be great.
we still got to win. Got to win. Let's wrap up the show with our fantasy corner. Nick, do we have a segment this week?
Yeah, we got questions for the Dean.
Questions for the Dean. He's a little bit off, but he's still a fantasy machine.
All right, so I've got DeAndre Hopkins. He bike.
I love
versus,
DeAndre Hopkins.
Versus A.J. Brown.
That's a great question. Remember, half PPR. You know, I'll take Hopkins.
I would too.
I think I may be stupid and everything I've done in fantasy and half my leagues has been terrible, but Hopkins is he's obviously gonna get more catches. The thing what scares me with Brown is he always seems to get hurt.
Okay.
And Hopkins, he's on the PEDs. He took the suspension for him, but he's probably still got a little bit of the juice in him, right? So give me Hopkins.
All right, nice. I like it. So Alvin Kamara or Leonard Fournette?
Kamara.
Okay.
Actually, Fournette. I change. Fournette. The Bucs cannot be any worse, and he's gonna get the ball. He's guaranteed. Give me Fournette.
Okay.
How many more?
Two more.
Two more.
Michael Carter or A.J. Dillon?
A.J. Dillon's been so bad.
So who you got?
He's been so bad, but they're bringing in James Robinson.
You know what I mean?
I still believe in Dillon. I think he's good down the stretch. Give me Dillon.
Okay. Last question. Dak Prescott. Put a little comeback players here. Or Joe Burrow. Just lost Chase.
Joe Burrow. Oh, you're right.
Lost
He lost
Chase.
Joe Burrow. Still Joe Burrow.
Okay, and that wraps up questions for the Dean.
All right. Lastly, our FanDuel, as always, Nick takes the lead on the season. 4-3 for Nick.
This is at least the second
He
time.
put up 141 points last week.
This is like at least the second time I've done that.
You just are crushing FanDuel. I don't know where you come up with these picks because it's not from your fantasy knowledge. Where do you come up with this stuff?
It is from my fantasy
From your
knowledge.
brain?
Yeah.
Brain just works better on FanDuel.
It's the dailies when you got to pick and you're stuck with these fucking guys that got hurt.
All right, I'm going to start with my quarterback and running backs as always. I've got the best quarterback in the league. You know who it is.
Who that?
Tua Tagovailoa
Oh,
against the Lions, 7,700, easiest choice of my life. Then I spent up on the most expensive player. Like I said, we're riding Tennessee. We're riding Derrick Henry. $10,000 on the salary, but he's worth it.
He's going to easily be the fucking rushing leader this week.
He has to be.
Yeah.
Then I went with his backup from last year, who's now in Carolina, Deontay Foreman.
Okay.
Hubbard's a little banged up. He'll still play, but Foreman had a huge week last week. He's in Atlanta, and I love him. 6,400. Who you got?
I've got Kyler Murray.
Ooh, against Minnesota?
Yeah,
I like it.
I think Minnesota's going to be up against it this week. I also took Derrick Henry, so we got a little overlap there.
You piece of...
Bruh, he's a fucking good player. And then I've got another guy who's set to blow off this week, Tony P.
Yeah, I mean, he's in my lineup, too.
Fuck.
Sneak peek of my flex. All right,
Tony
little
P,
overlap
Tony
here this
P.
week. All right, my receivers, A.J. Brown, 8,200. DJ Moore, the bounce back king, 6,200. And if you don't have this guy in your lineup, you're probably an idiot, even though he could suck. Wan'Dale Robinson, 5,900, super cheap, no Tony, in Seattle, who can't guard anyone. Give me Wan'Dale.
Yeah, I picked him up in the fucking tattoo league. I'm going to have to play him this week. So we've got overlap again. DJ Moore, I think he's set to blow off. Atlanta Falcons are hurt in the secondary. They just got rid of Robbie Anderson. They got rid of Christian McCaffrey. So you know that DJ Moore's going to get the ball this week. All right, DeAndre Hopkins.
Ooh.
Hop down there, stacked him with Kyler Murray. And then,
nice stack. I like that.
And then lastly, I went with Brandon Cooks. They're probably going to be trailing this game. And then on top of that, Nico Collins, who is sort of taking the edge at the number one wide receiver there, is out.
All
or
right.
if he plays, I think he's out, actually.
All right, I'm wrapping it up. Fact check that, whoever's listening.
Nah, Nico Collins is out, growing injury.
All right, wrapping it up. Dallas Goedert at tight end, 5,900. Like I said, Tony Pollard, thought he was a great value at 6,300, and I went cheap. Commanders defense at Indianapolis, 3,400.
Wow, dude, we have way too much stacked. This is going to be whack.
You have Goddard?
No, I've got Irv Smith Jr.
Okay.
I've got Raheem Mostert in the flex, and then I've got freaking Washington Commanders defense.
All right, I'll read it back.
I think this is the most overlap we've had. 3, I think. 4.
Well, we're hot, so you better ride these lineups.
Yeah, right.
Tua, Derrick Henry, Foreman, A.J. Brown, DJ Moore, Wan'Dale, Goddard, Pollard, Commanders.
I went Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, Irv Smith Jr., Raheem Mostert, and Washington Commanders defense.
All right, again, Nick and Beane code for Diet Smoke. Go use it. This stuff is incredible. Makes you podcast better. It makes you live better. It makes you work better. Nick, anything else, or are we good to go?
Nothing. Peace, bros.
All right, peace.